Cowboys Nation, there's something about hearing a player speak freely that gives you a completely different perspective on what's really happening inside a team. And this time it's CeeDee Lamb pulling back the curtain in a way that goes far beyond just stats and highlight plays. What stands out immediately is how comfortable he is, how natural the conversation feels. And even when things start off light with some unexpected topics, you can already sense there's a deeper layer coming once the focus shifts fully to football. And when it finally does, it's clear we're listening to someone who not only understands his role, but fully embraces the responsibility that comes with being one of the central pieces of the Dallas Cowboys offense. Before even diving into schemes and performance, there's a glimpse in a locker room culture that says a lot about the dynamics inside an NFL team. The way players talk about routines, habits, and even small details like preparation shows just how different personalities coexist in that environment. Some take shortcuts, others stick strictly to their process, but for Lamb, there's a clear emphasis on professionalism and consistency. That mindset reflects directly on the field, because when you hear him talk, you understand that everything ties back to performance. It's not just about showing up on game day. It's about the discipline behind the scenes that builds confidence when the lights are brightest. Once the conversation shifts into football, the tone changes instantly, and that's where things really start to get interesting. Lamb begins to break down what makes this current offensive unit so unique, and one word keeps coming up: connection. There's a genuine sense that this group isn't just talented, but aligned, especially under the leadership of Dak Prescott. According to Lamb, that leadership has been crucial in bringing together a relatively young core, guiding them through the challenges of executing a high level while still developing chemistry. And that's not something you can fake. It shows in the timing of routes, in the trust between quarterback and receiver, and in the ability to adapt when things don't go according to the original plan. He also highlights the impact of the coaching staff, particularly the offensive direction that's been put in place. There's a strong appreciation for a system that doesn't just stick to one identity, but evolves based on the strengths of the players. That adaptability is something Lamb clearly values, especially in a league where defenses are constantly adjusting and trying to take away your biggest weapons. Being part of an offense that can recognize those changes in real time and respond effectively is what separates good teams from dangerous ones. And from the way he describes it, this unit is built to respond under pressure, not fold. Another key point that stands out is how much Lamb values energy and belief coming from the coaching staff. It's not just about play design or strategy, it's about how that message is delivered. When a coach can get players fully bought in, when they believe in what's being asked of them, that creates a different level of execution. Lamb makes it clear that this kind of leadership translates directly onto the field, especially in critical moments. When things get tough, that belief becomes the foundation that keeps everyone locked in and focused on the objective. What really elevates his perspective, though, is how he talks about adjustments during games. He points out that not every coach has the ability to read what's happening in real time and make the necessary changes on the fly. But when you do have that, it becomes a massive advantage. The offense isn't stuck reacting late. It's actively countering what the defense throws at them. That kind of flexibility allows players like Lamb to maximize their impact because they're constantly being put in positions where they can exploit weaknesses instead of forcing plays that aren't there. Then there's the discussion about scoring, and this is where Lamb's mentality becomes crystal clear. For him, putting points on the board isn't just a goal, it's an identity. Coming from a background where high-scoring games were the norm, he carries that same expectation into the professional level. There's no hesitation, no second-guessing. The mindset is simple. Every drive is an opportunity, and it's on the offense to capitalize, regardless of what's happening on the other side of the ball. That kind of approach puts constant pressure on defenses and reinforces the idea that this team is built to be aggressive. He also reflects on how his role has evolved over time, especially when it comes to defensive attention. Early in his career, being surrounded by multiple playmakers created opportunities for him to grow without facing the full weight of opposing defenses. But as his presence has grown, so has the responsibility. Defenses adjust, coverage shifts, and suddenly the challenge becomes much more complex. Yet instead of shying away from that, Lamb embraces it. He understands that being a primary target means drawing attention, and he's learned how to turn that into an advantage not just for himself, but for the entire offense. At the same time, he recognizes the value of having other weapons around him. When defenses are forced to make choices, when they can't focus on just one player, that's when the offense becomes truly dangerous. Lamb even touches on how he actively supports his teammates, encouraging them to take over games when the opportunity presents itself. That unselfish mindset is what keeps the offense balanced and unpredictable, and it's a big reason why this unit has been able to produce at such a high level. There's also an interesting layer when he talks about the mental side of the game. Reading defenses, identifying coverages, and reacting in real time requires more than just physical ability. It's about awareness, preparation, and the ability to process information quickly under pressure. Lamb shows a deep understanding of that aspect, explaining how he approaches each play with the intention of finding and exploiting whatever weakness is presented. It's a constant chess match, and the best players are the ones who can stay one step ahead. And as the conversation continues, you start to see just how much confidence he has not only in himself, but in the system around him. That confidence isn't built overnight. It comes from repetition, from success, and from trust in the people you're working with every single day. When all those elements come together, the result is an offense that doesn't just rely on talent, but operates with purpose and clarity every time they step on the field. As the conversation keeps unfolding, what really begins to stand out is how CeeDee Lamb views pressure, especially in moments where most players might start to feel the weight of expectations. Instead of seeing it as something negative, he treats it almost like fuel, something that sharpens his focus and elevates his performance. That mentality becomes even more important when you consider how often the Dallas Cowboys find themselves in high-scoring battles, where every possession matters and every mistake can swing the momentum. For Lamb, there's no hesitation in those situations. The expectation is to deliver, and more often than not, he embraces that challenge with confidence. There's also a deeper appreciation for how roles within the offense can shift from week to week, depending on what the defense is trying to take away. Lamb makes it clear that adaptability isn't just a coaching responsibility, it's something players have to internalize as well. One game, you might be the focal point drawing double coverage all night, and the next, you might find more space because defenses are trying to stop someone else. Understanding that balance and staying mentally ready regardless of the circumstances is what separates consistent performers from those who disappear when things don't go their way. And from everything he's expressing, it's obvious he's fully locked into that mindset. Another layer that adds to his perspective is the respect he shows for teammates who step up in key moments. Football at this level is never about one individual carrying the entire load, and Lamb emphasizes how important it is to trust the system and the people around you. When another receiver starts heating up or the running game begins to dominate, it doesn't take away from his role, it strengthens the entire unit. That kind of chemistry forces defenses into impossible situations, because there's no clear answer for how to stop an offense that can beat you in multiple ways. At the same time, he doesn't shy away from acknowledging the challenges that come with being one of the primary targets. Defenses study tendencies, they adjust coverages, and they constantly look for ways to disrupt timing. Lamb talks about how important it is to stay one step ahead, not just physically, but mentally. Recognizing defensive disguises, understanding leverage, and anticipating adjustments before they fully develop are all part of his preparation. It's a level of detail that often goes unnoticed by casual fans, but it's exactly what allows elite receivers to consistently create separation even when everything is designed to stop them. The influence of Dak Prescott continues to be a central theme as well, especially when it comes to communication and trust. There's a clear connection between quarterback and receiver that goes beyond just executing plays. It's about reading the same signals, reacting to the same cues, and being on the same page even when the play breaks down. Lamb highlights how crucial that relationship is, particularly in high-pressure moments where there's no time to think, only to react. When that chemistry is strong, it allows the offense to operate with a level of fluidity that's incredibly difficult for defenses to contain. What's equally interesting is how he reflects on the evolution of the offensive identity. There's an understanding that success in this league requires constant growth, and that what worked yesterday won't necessarily work tomorrow. Lamb points out that the best offenses are the ones that continue to evolve, finding new ways to stay unpredictable while still building on their strengths. That balance between consistency and innovation is something this unit seems to be striving for, and it's a big reason why they've been able to put up impressive numbers while still leaving room for improvement. He also touches on the emotional side of the game, something that often gets overlooked when discussing performance. Momentum swings, big plays, and even small moments can completely change the energy on the field. Lamb describes how important it is to stay composed, to not get too high or too low, and to maintain focus regardless of what's happening in the game. That emotional control becomes especially critical in close matchups, where one mistake or one big play can decide the outcome. There's a noticeable confidence when he talks about the future of this offense, and it's not just based on what they've already accomplished. It's rooted in the belief that there's still another level they can reach. With a young core continuing to develop and a system that encourages adaptability, the potential for growth is significant. Lamb seems fully aware of that, and there's a sense that he's not satisfied with where things are, even if the numbers already suggest a high level of success. As the discussion moves deeper into strategy, he reinforces the idea that preparation is everything. Film study, understanding opponent tendencies, and refining techniques throughout the week all play a role in what happens on game day. Lamb makes it clear that nothing is left to chance, and that the work put in behind the scenes is what allows players to react instinctively when the moment arrives. That preparation becomes the foundation for confidence, and it's what allows the offense to play fast without hesitation. And then there's the way he describes the competitive nature within the team itself. Even in practice, there's a constant push to improve, to challenge each other, and to raise the standard. That internal competition creates an environment where players are always striving to be better, knowing that every rep matters. For Lamb, that's a crucial part of development because it ensures that growth never stops, regardless of past achievements. All of these elements come together to paint a picture of an offense that isn't just relying on talent, but on a shared understanding of what it takes to succeed at the highest level. From leadership and adaptability to preparation and trust, every piece plays a role in shaping how this team performs. And as Lamb continues to embrace his role within that system, it becomes increasingly clear that his impact goes far beyond what shows up on the stats sheet, influencing the rhythm, confidence, and identity of the entire unit every time they take the field. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. Whispers are beginning to swirl around the league, and this time the spotlight lands squarely on QUAY Walker and a bold, potentially disruptive idea brewing deep inside the front office of the Dallas Cowboys. According to sources close to the situation, Jerry Jones is quietly evaluating what some insiders are already calling a calculated heist within the NFC. The concept itself feels audacious. Walker, known for his sideline-to-sideline speed and instinctive reads, has steadily grown into one of the most intriguing defensive pieces in the conference. While no official discussions have surfaced publicly, league chatter suggests that Dallas is exploring creative pathways to lure the linebacker away, potentially reshaping the balance of power. What makes this rumor particularly compelling is timing. The Cowboys have been searching for a defensive identity that blends aggression with discipline, and Walker fits that mold almost too perfectly. His versatility could unlock new schemes, allowing Dallas to experiment with hybrid looks that have so far remained theoretical. Still, skepticism lingers. Executing a move of this magnitude within the same conference is never simple, and resistance from rival executives would be expected. Yet those familiar with Jones' history know he has never shied away from headline-grabbing maneuvers, especially when an opportunity to outmaneuver conference rivals presents itself. Around the league, reactions are mixed. Some executives reportedly view the idea as unrealistic posturing, while others believe there may be more substance behind the scenes. The mere possibility has already sparked debates among analysts, with many questioning how such a move would ripple across defensive matchups. For now, nothing is confirmed, and silence remains the only official stance. But in a league where boldness often defines legacy, the idea of QUAY Walker in a Cowboys uniform is no longer unthinkable. It's a rumor gaining just enough traction to demand attention. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.